Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Literature Lullabies, where we bring timeless stories to life. If you're a lover of romance, wit, and transformation, you're in for a treat. Today, we're diving into one of Jane Austen's most beloved novels, Pride and Prejudice. Before we begin, if you enjoy the journey of love and personal growth, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for more stories. Now, let's begin. We open in the peaceful village of Longbourn, where the Bennet family resides. Mrs. Bennet, eager to marry off her daughters, hears the news of a wealthy bachelor moving into the neighboring estate of Netherfield. Mr. Charles Bingley is young, charming, and rich, which means he's a prime match for one of the Bennet girls. The social commentary here is powerful. Mrs. Bennet's single-minded obsession with securing wealthy husbands for her daughters reveals the pressures women faced in the 19th century to marry for financial security rather than personal choice. In a society where women had few opportunities outside marriage, this obsession with matchmaking emphasizes the limited scope for women's autonomy and the social system's values at the time. But Mrs. Bennet is optimistic, until Mr. Darcy enters the picture. At the first ball, Mr. Bingley falls for Jane immediately. He is warm, open-hearted, and clearly taken by her beauty. But it's Mr. Darcy who steals the spotlight, and not in a good way. His aloof, proud demeanor earns him the reputation of being haughty. Elizabeth overhears Darcy's infamous remark that she's tolerable, but not handsome enough to tempt him, and her prejudice toward him begins. This early exchange sets the stage for one of the novel's central conflicts, pride versus prejudice. Austen masterfully crafts Darcy's pride and Elizabeth's prejudice as both character flaws and as societal critiques. Darcy's pride reflects the rigid class structures and the aristocratic view of superiority based on wealth and lineage, while Elizabeth's prejudice represents the snap judgments we make based on first impressions and incomplete knowledge. After the ball, Jane and Bingley's growing attraction faces obstacles. Jane's reserved nature, while endearing, leads Darcy to believe that Jane isn't interested in Bingley, and he subtly discourages the relationship. Meanwhile, Elizabeth's bias against Darcy deepens, especially after meeting Mr. Wickham, a charming officer who tells her that Darcy wronged him, denying him an inheritance. This section introduces the theme of miscommunication. Darcy's actions, such as interfering with Bingley and Jane, are initially seen as cruel, but his motivations are later revealed to be more complex. The novel's exploration of misunderstandings is critical. Austen suggests that in the world of Pride and Prejudice, people often let their emotions cloud their judgment, leading to assumptions that hinder relationships. As for Wickham, he represents the danger of appearances. He's charming and persuasive, yet manipulative. Elizabeth's willingness to believe Wickham's story highlights how easily we can be deceived by charisma, which is an important message about human nature in the novel. The arrival of Mr. Collins, an absurdly pompous clergyman and heir to the Bennet estate, provides both comic relief and serious commentary. Mr. Collins proposes to Elizabeth in the most ridiculous way, thinking that she should be grateful for the offer. Elizabeth rejects him outright, which causes a bit of family tension, and he quickly proposes to her friend, Charlotte Lucas. Charlotte, practical and sensible, accepts the offer, despite Mr. Collins' ridiculousness, because she values security over romantic love. Here, Austen provides a sharp commentary on social pressures. Charlotte's decision highlights the pragmatism many women were forced to adopt in an era where marriage was the only viable way to secure one's future. Elizabeth's rejection of Mr. Collins, in contrast, reflects her belief in individual choice and personal happiness. It's a critique of a society where women have few opportunities, but also a celebration of the courage it takes to assert one's own agency. Meanwhile, Jane's blossoming relationship with Bingley faces more setbacks, largely due to Darcy's interference. Elizabeth begins to see Darcy not only as proud but as controlling. But then Darcy surprises her. He writes a letter explaining his actions and revealing Wickham's true nature. Darcy also clears up the misunderstanding about Jane's indifference, explaining that he believed Jane was uninterested in Bingley. This letter marks a key turning point in Elizabeth's character development. Self-reflection becomes central here. Elizabeth, realizing that she has allowed her biases to govern her judgment, begins to reassess her opinion of Darcy. Austen shows that pride and prejudice are not merely flaws in others, but are often found within ourselves, encouraging readers to question their own assumptions. The letter is also an important device because it shifts the narrative from external conflict to internal conflict. Both Elizabeth and Darcy must confront their flaws and grow. This internal change forms the heart of the novel. Elizabeth's visit to Darcy's estate, Pemberley, is a beautiful turning point. The place itself, a grand, majestic house, represents Darcy's inner world, an external shell of pride masking a heart capable of kindness and generosity. As Elizabeth sees Darcy's true nature through his staff's warm admiration, she begins to re-evaluate him. This moment illustrates Austen's belief in the transformative power of personal growth and understanding. Elizabeth is struck by Darcy's integrity, particularly when he steps in to save her family's reputation by helping to locate and marry Lydia, who has eloped with Wickham. Darcy's actions speak louder than words. He doesn't do this for public praise. He does it quietly, selflessly. This is the ultimate test of character in the novel. Darcy's actions prove his love and redemption, and Elizabeth's evolving view of him shows her own growth. The culmination of the story comes with Darcy's second proposal to Elizabeth. This time, his love is humbler, more sincere. He admits his faults, acknowledging his pride and his earlier actions. Elizabeth, equally changed, accepts his proposal. Jane and Bingley also find their way back to each other, and there's a sense of harmony and closure. The final union between Darcy and Elizabeth is about much more than romantic love. It's a celebration of mutual respect and personal development. Austen closes the novel by showing that true love isn't about perfection. It's about growth, learning from our mistakes, and embracing each other's imperfections. And that's the story of Pride and Prejudice, a brilliant exploration of love, social class, and personal growth. Through Elizabeth and Darcy, Jane Austen reminds us that change is possible, that we can evolve if we open ourselves to the idea of self-reflection and understanding. The novel ultimately teaches us that the heart is never fully understood until we let go of our pride and prejudice. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this journey into one of the greatest works of English literature. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe to Literature Lullabies. Don't forget to ring the bell to stay updated on future stories. Until next time, may your dreams be as timeless as the stories we share here.